Phylogeny 311, Mini Exam 51A, Phylogeny by Calico. So in this prompt, we had to create a phylogenetic tree using 8 items and 1 outgroup with anything you wanted, so I chose furniture. We had a sofa, sectionals, recliners, swivel chairs, each with either fabric or leather, and then the ottoman was my outgroup. So this is a rooted phylogenetic tree. Rooted trees have a common ancestor, which you can see here. They have the distance between the OTUs known, and then their order of divergence is assumed by comparing them to an OTU that's considered an outgroup, which would be this bottom down here. And then the OTUs are the operational taxonomic units. They are represented graphically on phylogenetic trees in order to show the degree of similarity between each of them. And an outgroup would be the OTU that diverged the earliest from all of them. And then the outgroup is also considered the root of the tree because the other OTUs share a common ancestor. So in this case, our outgroup would be the ottoman. It immediately separated from the common ancestor and evolved on its own, which is also an example of anagenesis. Anagenesis is the evolution within a lineage over time. So there's no other common ancestors. It doesn't split anywhere. It's just one continued line of evolution, which is why it's by itself. And then cladogenesis would be the splitting of one lineage into 2 and the continued evolution separately. So like in this case, fabric recliners and fabric swivel chairs split off and they will continue to evolve separately. And then when you're looking at these definitions, so the node up here, this would be, this essentially represents a common ancestor or the most recent common ancestor, which is different from this common ancestor. The most recent common ancestor is the individual from which all the organisms in the group are directly descended. So in this case, the leather sofa and leather sectional would have the most recent common ancestor here at this node. And then for the whole group, like I showed earlier, the most recent common ancestor would be this node there, which is not shared by the ottoman, which is again what makes it the outgroup. And then the reason why I chose this setup is the ottoman was the outgroup because it has no back, which is why it evolved separately. It's a pretty big difference. And then the rest of them I separated immediately into basically texture, so whether it was made of fabric or leather, so the leather and then the fabric groups. And then the sofa and the sectional will be the closest related because they're multiple sections put together as a way to sit. And then the recliner and the swivel chair would be the closest by themselves as well because they're one area to sit in, and the only difference really is that one can move and one cannot, one's stationary.